And more recently as well, in the hockey space, you were involved in some Indigenous hockey here.
Yeah.
In Australia as well.
Yeah. So there's a thing called the Tour of Hope. I think that was a couple of months ago now, where a number of players from Canada, I think they were from Edmonton, I think near Edmonton.
Yeah, Northern Alberta.
That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, they came over.
If I didn't get that right, Kerry Goulet, who's a good friend of mine, he would absolutely murder me. So I have to make sure I got that right.
You smack him. Anyway, so met Kerry at a stick and puck. I was just doing some drills because I just started skating again. I was still on chemo, felt like crap, but wanted to get back out on the ice. And he saw me out there and asked me if I wanted to come do the Melbourne Ice development team just as a goalie every week. And then he heard my story and asked me if I wanted to be involved in the Tour of Hope because obviously it was the Indigenous, it was about the Indigenous players, but also Tour of Hope. It was, he thought it was appropriate that I played as well, given my story. So yeah, had a great time. We played in Melbourne, we played in Sydney, Brisbane, then we went over to New Zealand and played in Queenstown and Wellington as well. So I probably wasn't well enough to do it yet. I was still pretty tired and fatigued from it all, but I had an absolute blast and it was amazing getting back on the ice again. And that was pretty much the first games I'd played since being back. So yeah, I can't thank Kerry enough. And yeah, well, it was just such an amazing experience. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I've seen you put up the post with the photos and you thanked Danny Khalil. I know Danny. I know Ray. I haven't met Danny. But
bloody legends. Good eggs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Ray drove us around. Drove us around New Zealand, and Danny took all the photos and handled all the media stuff, and they were awesome. Good people.
I was just going to say, do you feel like it was sort of almost like a perfect storm for you the first time you got back on the ice was with this Tour of Hope? It was almost like it was meant to be.
Yeah, it felt a bit that way, a bit like fate. Yeah, it's funny how things work, isn't it? But yeah, it was because I wasn't sure I'd ever play again, to be honest. So having that as the first games back was yeah, it meant a lot. Really meant a lot.
And I know Kerry's taken teams. There's been teams that have gone to Canada. Is that something that was spoken about? Is that something that you're looking towards as well, potentially?
I mean, I'd love to be involved if it happens, for sure. I'm not sure it was like overly discussed, but yeah, if it happens in the future, sign me up because that'd be amazing. Yeah, so good.